Hola, hola, mamacitas. Welcome to my humble kitchen. And I am gonna just talk kitchen, just basic essentials. And that is, first of all, have your recipe ready to go. I printed some out. I know the taco meat pretty easy, but the tabbouleh salad, I have it, even though I make it often, I still have to look at it. So I always print it out, have all my ingredients ready to go. I have a juicer for my lemon. I just skip that whole do your own kind of cauliflower head and make it from there. And just get the frozen one from Costco, defrost it and have it ready to go. You're gonna stick it in the skillet anyway. So I just wanna make sure that I need to make it as easy as possible because here I am in mom mode. Sophia's over here. I had to make her a bean and cheese burrito. I'll always have sweet potatoes. I'll always have like peppers and lemon and salt and in my house. Sweet potatoes, even as like I was preparing for this video, Sophia's like, Mom, this banana is not that good. And I was like, well, half of it isn't good. So I might as well make my overnight oats. So here's my oats. I cut that half a banana into pieces, as you'll see here. And then I put some, usually about 4 tablespoons. And because I've made it enough, I can do this without measuring. This is pretty easy. You want to add to the cooking show? Here, Sophia's going to add to the cooking show. A little bit of vanilla.
And what she bakes is, I can tell you one
A
thing,
little
so good.
bit of what she makes is so good. You love her. I love my daughter. I love my daughter. She is the light of my life. And I just leave them and have a lid ready to go for them. Put them in the refrigerator for the morning time.
But
And I might add a little bit more strawberries or whatnot, but mix it up, put it in the fridge.
Next, on our next video, we're going to be making
I thought we were going to cook
strawberry rhubarb pie.
Is that what we're going to do, Sophia?
Strawberry rhubarb cinnamon pie.
All right. So next, I'm going to make the salad because I want that to sit and kind of like seep all the lemon juice and some olive oil over in my hot
I'm back.
skillet.
Flour.
All right. So then I will add the cauliflower.
Like always.
I don't want to bring you over here.
Product
Put
or something.
measurements of the salt and pepper. Just kind of use as you go. I've noticed some people just be a little bit more cautious about like their sodium. So if that's you, then just be more cautious of it. Olive oil. And I'm gonna go ahead and juice
Right now
my
she's
lemon.
cutting a lemon.
Juicer. This, about 2 tablespoons. Give me a little more. A garlic press. That saves me from having to peel the garlic. I just can throw this in there like this. Pepper chest, by the way, super easy. I've had some of you over when I've had a pepper chef party because they make stuff that makes cooking so fast and easy. I don't have to worry about it. I have little teeny garlics. So I'm going to put, the equivalent of 1 garlic head. And I like a lot of garlic. I'm going to mix this and put this aside. And then I'm going to go check on the cauliflower and skip that processing your cauliflower head. It's too much. I can't think about it right now. There's so much going on. And I know you feel the same way too. Except Chris, you're retired, Chris, so you have more time. What you need to do is transfer it to a medium mixing bowl. My cucumber, I don't peel the whole thing. I like to leave the skin a little bit. Some people do peel the whole thing. I like to leave it pretty much like that. So there's not like a ton of it, but there's a lot of good properties in the skin. So I'm gonna cut this up. I'm gonna transfer that cauliflower and I'll put that to the side. And as you can see in the background, I just air fried these beautiful roasted sweet potatoes. So I have them as my carb, you know, like they're in the prep, like in between meals. I don't have to be like so hot, or after a workout, you need some good carbohydrates to fill. That's a great thing. And I put it with some meatballs and some, I might even need a little bit of like veggies with it, but right now I'm gonna do this at like the size of like half moon, but I don't like it that big. I like it a little bit smaller, and so I'll do it like this. Sometimes you have more because the cucumbers are bigger, and sometimes you have less because the cucumbers are smaller, and that's all okay. Like the more veggies for me, the better. And cucumbers just a really good.
I know it's
cleansing
the
agent.
ending.
Okay, so I'm gonna slip that in there. And now I'm going to put my tomatoes, and I'm gonna use, it says 2 cups of diced tomatoes, but I'm using the baby ones. So I one for that reason. It's gonna just cut these guys in half because they're so small. And they're a little sweeter. Naturally sweet. Those out. Cut them in half. Right,
Sorry, let's just see that. I'm so sorry.
Sí, pero Wensa, Dios mío. Okay, I'm gonna make another cut here and wash them again. A lot of veggies in this salad. It's so good. And it's gonna overflow this big glass container. It's okay because I'm gonna eat some tonight. I'm gonna feed some to my husband, and it'll be enough to just stay in that container. And it tastes really good tomorrow and the next day. I have to tell you, some of the salads, like the cabbage slaw, no mayo slaw, also tastes better like 2 or 3 days afterwards. It's just good. That kind of doesn't last in my house very long. But I always have like a salad weekly. You know, it's just always nice to have some good veggies and snacks, like healthy snacks ready to go. So you're not scrambling about what am I going to take to work or having my food bag kind of already done. You know, and in and out of season, it doesn't matter. I think like that's the beauty of having friends that are like dietitians. My friend Denise is a nutritionist. I'm registered dietitian. So we always like share ideas on like what we can do different that was within the menu, but a little bit like more spicy and tasty than our regular food prep stuff. Take a cup of the fresh parsley. It sounds like a lot, but it gives it such a good flavor. So I'll wash it here.
Mama, where's the whipped cream? I'm gonna make a dessert.
Baby, not yet, baby. Remember, we're gonna wait. We're gonna do this all together. Okay, PBS. And then when we're done, and then I'll call you to make the rhubarb pie, okay? So you can watch a little something. Right. This is the TV time while Mama cooks. And since we're all gonna be doing this together, this is how it is. And if you have young ones, it's gonna be like this.
Can I watch Chinese Storm from Hulu?
No, you're gonna watch PBS. You want to turn on the TV and turn the channel to PBS. Okay. It's hard, you know, as long as they don't hurt themselves and they're also themselves. She's been in soccer and then in tutoring, so it is her form of quiet time, I tell you. All right, so I'm not going to use the whole stem, but I'm going to try to get as much of the parsley off the end because I do like using everything, but I don't like it when it's super chunky. So I have to cut it really, really thin. And my chopper is also another tool that I have to make some of these things, and it is easy. It makes it so much easier because I love my pampered chef, but sometimes I just need to do it quick. All right, so here's a cup here, cutting those last little pieces together. Put a cup here. And I'm really pushing it down because I'm use as much as I can. All right, and then I'm also going to use, says some fresh mint, but I don't have any fresh mint. So I'm going to use some dried mint that I have here. And since it's just a half a cup, I'm just going to use about a quarter of a cup here, as you can tell, of the mint ones. And it's good. Yes, it tastes better with fresh mint, but when you don't have it, it works. I mean, I don't have the green onions as well. I think it asks for like little green onion. I'm going to use the red onions. And sometimes you just kind of have to do that. And it makes it so good so that you can use all of your produce. This is produce that was left from last week. And I'm just going to use as much as I can. When I don't, maybe every couple of weeks is when I make the burrito stuffing or the bowls, because then I really use all the peppers and everything that I don't get a chance to use there. Okay, so instead of the green onions, it says a half a cup of these. I'm going to use about a half a cup of the red onions. And put these, and I'll show you my chopper. This is so delicious. About right here, I'll cut the end just to kind of get rid of those little bits like this. Way. You can tell I just washed it because I use it a lot. So it goes about like this. And you turn this guy, make sure it seals. And then I just give it a couple like cube cuts like this. And doesn't normally do that. But I like to just rinse these things. I don't like to put them in the dishwasher because it's not all that safe, especially with plastic. And there, nice and easy. And I'm gonna slip those in. You can put more onions if you want. I do the recipe the way it calls for it the first time, with the exception of like the red onions and then I just add different, variations of my own to make it taste really delicious. Okay, so and then you can do the sauce onions, but I do that when I serve it. So right now I'm just gonna toss it and mix it, and then with the dressing, here, here. I might add a little bit more salt. It depends on how the flavor comes out here. And there you go. And then you just kind of toss it around. And look, this one, because of the mint being dried and not fresh, it does fit into this container just fine. So beautiful and delicious. And you can still like hear or see the steam coming off of the cooked cauliflower. It's just delicious. And I like using this glass container, which I also got from Pampered Chef, just because you can see there's any little bunches here. You can kind of mix around or move around. This. And it's ready to go. Actually, delicious. You can even like give it a little bit of a taste and see if you need to add. I'll probably add a little bit more salt. So maybe a teaspoon of salt instead of a half a teaspoon of salt. That I added to the cauliflower earlier. So I'm just going to top it up. Half. And then I'll mix it around and let it sit. It's so good. I didn't always like to cook. I think when we were growing up, my brothers actually loved to cook and mix whatever we had in the refrigerator. And my sisters always like made the tortillas when I was youngest. So then I took on that role, but it was a chore. until I became an adult and living on my own and having to make healthy food. Like I followed the food plan when I went to 24-hour fitness. That was where I first lost the weight, and my trainer was from there. I just followed the food plan. And so just slowly I started adding more recipes or looking for more variety. Make it taste good. So you don't always have to cook. You could also just prep. So that's gonna sit there. I'm not gonna put it in the refrigerator because I do want to have it a little bit more warm. And then I'm just gonna move on to the taco meat. I'm gonna give this a slight little rinse. Because I always end up using a lot of other things. You know, make it easier on yourself. Off a little. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to use like a full onion. And this one's only like a quarter here. And then I'm going to take out the bits, the not so good bits. So it's going to be like a half onion. And I actually want to use an onion. So I will cut these right here. And take out all those bits. Okay, because I'm going to fry the onions with a little bit of garlic first. So, do that. So remember what we talked about here. And now, it's too big of a piece, it's okay, it'll kind of mix around a little bit. And you can lift it up, take another piece. Just refine it, refine it. Turn this burner back on and stick a little olive oil. I'm going to pause it just right here. All right, so here we are, and I'm going to warm this up to about medium high. I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of olive oil and get that going here. Nice and warmed up. You don't have to do as much, but I got the bison that is 90% lean and 10% fat. So you can see it's already nice and warmed up. And I'm just gonna slip this nice diced up onion in here. I try to put as much veggies in my food as possible because my kids don't naturally get it in. So if I can hide it in there, I will. Hold on. What is it, Sophia? Come over here. Don't yell from over there. So I'm going to warm this up. And then when we get going, I use like yellow onions as well, just to kind of warm this up. But I am going to use, but because I don't have any, I'm using the red onion. And it's just good. It comes out tasting delicious either way. Now I make all these ingredients sometimes already done, and it's called the Mexican seasoning. That makes it a lot easier to throw it in there. But this is a little spicy, and I know that Sophia's going to eat it, so I don't want to make it as spicy, and it's a great way to show you how I make it. So let me. Okay, so this is cooking, and I'm going to stick a couple of the garlic cloves in here. And they're the bigger cones, so I'm just going to throw this in there, and then I'll throw another one. It's kind of already here. Good. And see how it just kind of move it all up for you. It's easy to clean too because it has like its own little brush. All right, and then done. And then I'm going to stick the meat in. And I usually just take it out of the freezer early in the morning, but I forgot to. So it's going to cook a little bit as it gets harder. So I am going to take off the soft pieces and then get those mixed up. And then here we go. As we go. Okay, so while that is cooking off a little bit, I will show you. And you can use anything. You can use turkey. Ground chicken is one of my favorites. And then bison. We do a lot of beef because it tends to be a little bit more fatty, but you can get, you know, what you can use whatever meat you want. Okay, so I'm gonna take a couple of these, put 2 tablespoons or a tablespoon actually, because it's not big. If I'm making that big container, I'm gonna make it more. If I'm making enchiladas, I'll use a little bit more. But tablespoon or so is good. And then this is my cumin. So I'll use about a teaspoon, maybe 2. Let's see how it looks. About a teaspoon. I kind of eye it sometimes, like, you know, until my friend's dad comes over and says, "Hey, that's way too much cumin." I like cumin. And about a teaspoon, even though I use onion, I still use onion powder. It gives it like a different flavor. I do that with my guacamole too. I'll use onion powder. All right, and then I'll do another teaspoon of the garlic powder. It'll be a little bit clumpy, but I'll take care of that. When I'm cooking the meat and mixing it all in together, the flavors will kind of come together. And then I will do half, maybe even a quarter of the oregano. Not too much. Oregano is really strong. And then here's, I love to use the bay leaf because it just gives it a different flavor. Sophia, honey, what do you need? And I'll slip it in there. It'll cook along and I'll take it out. Don't forget to take it out. That is really hard. It's very not chewy whatsoever. All right, so I'm taking out the meat and I'm going to flip it over again. And don't forget to take out the meat. It's a lot easier instead of doing it this way. Right, and that really is like it will really cook as you go. Might be a little clumpy, but it comes out delicious. If you do forget to put it in, take out your meat first thing in the morning, it's frozen, put a little in it. The steam will take care of it and do it a little bit quicker for you. And while the meat is cooking, you can kind of get your sides done. I washed these tomatoes and I'm going to put a few of them in like a little ramekin so people can add their tomatoes to their tacos as they want. Here. And then I'm going to cut just a little bit of cilantro, put it in a bunch. Love just using the tips. Shaking the water on. And here's this one. I just like to bunch it up, make it easier for me. And then just take the knife to a really thinly slice. If you can see that, nice and thinly sliced. And if I use cotija, I'll do the cotija as well. But right now I'm not going to use the cotija because I'm going to use some aguacate or avocados. So, and I'll put that in a little ramekin as well. You can put as I just lay it to the side because you know Sophia's not going to really eat it as much, but I know I will. And do the aguacate and check the meat right there. Here. This is how I cut it. You can ever do it. I tend to do this, and I tend to cut through it into slices. Like this. Spoon it up. cuts and sliced like that. I'm not gonna do it all, so I'm just gonna keep the other half so we can eat it later, maybe for my breakfast. All right, and the meat looks good. I also do put a little paprika in there. I just ran out, but it adds a little bit more of a reddish color to that meat, and it tastes good. It just, you know, seasoning are like just the best thing you can possibly do here. Turn the fan a little. All right, so the meat looks good. All right, is that kind of just finishing up and maybe crisping up a little bit because I do like it that. I'm going to turn on the tortilla maker here and put these seasonings away. Okay, so as the meat is kind of finishing up and crisping up, I turned on the match and another skillet. And I always, here's my thing about like the olive oil that I cook tortillas or warm tortillas up. I take it out of this because you don't end up using that much oil. And instead of the regular size tortillas, I do a couple of the small ones. So 2 is like 1, you can do 3, it'll be like 100 calories. If you're going for calories, it'll be like 100 calories for 3 of these. Somehow it just tastes, it just makes it like you're having more volume. And this tastes really good. You know, so I want to be able to warm those up and make that. And I'm going to add some pepper because I didn't add any earlier. And then I'm going to add some salt. So that's one thing I remember. This meat is going to make like 5 servings of like 4 ounces. But it's not just a pound, it's like a pound and a quarter. So I'll do so you're distributing that sodium into all of those. Tortillas. You can use a fork if you don't want to burn your fingers. I have a tortilla warmer like this in here to keep it nice and warm, and I'll show you the finished product. All right, I found a couple of the bigger tortillas. So these 2, for 2 tortillas, it's going to be 110. You see the size is much different than these. You can have like 6 of these tortillas and it would only be like 200 calories. So I don't love to eat corn just because it's like, you know, it really makes me break out. That's great. It just does. So I'm going to make a mix of these 2. All right, and here you go. 3 little tacos. We're going to put a little bit of tomatoes in here. You can't even see the red onions, you see? Oh, that actually works out so good. So put a little bit of cilantro. And a couple of avocado slices. It doesn't need that much. It just gives it some extra flavor. And I warmed up some beans. So I'm gonna put that on the side, about a quarter of a cup. And there it is, delicious, right? Taco meat, super easy, super quick. And I make it at least once a week, just for everybody. It's like one of my meals, one of my go-tos, and with different meats. Okay, buenas noches. Enjoy cooking. We'll go through some other stuff like the air fryer and whatever we make other recipes. And some of you may not have that, and that's okay. We'll cook without that too, but I think it'll be fun. Good advice, Nikki, about like let's cook together and make dinner happen. Ta-da! Adios.